And we are live. Hey, y'all, welcome back to my channel, Watch Your Mouth Reviews. This is your boy James. I am here to give my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It ain't gonna happen in this video, but you know, that's okay. We'll live to fight another day. Joining me as always is my co-host, my special guest, my BFF in the world, Mrs. Best herself. Y'all show her some love. Go ahead and subscribe to that channel, y'all. But say hello to the few peoples that will be seeing the playback of this. But y'all, I'm gonna be in and out because I see that my bars are going down. It is storming here, so I am gonna be on and off camera again. I apologize. Ain't help where I live, but that's all right though. Y'all still get the message, although. So, with that being said, we are gonna talk about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City episode or season 4, episode 4, y'all. It was an okay episode. I mean, for the most part, it was definitely entertaining and some drama did happen. But as far as overall saying it was A plus episode, I can't give it that this week. Sorry. Some people have made it over to my bad side. I will say that. And somebody disappointed me this episode. I'm gonna say that. And I want y'all to guess at who it could be as we go forward. But before we begin, y'all, we have to talk about something that really it didn't bother me, but it was all over the blogs. So, to make a long story short, Whitney Rose hosted or co-hosted an event because she has a new partnership with a company called is it Monkey Drapes, I believe. Monkey Drapes she partnered with. So amongst many guests that were at this event, we had an old cast member who was not well liked after her season of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and that was none other than Miss Jenny Wynn. So we're going to see the picture they took together. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to see. So that's Jenny Wynn. For those of you guys who are not familiar with Salt Lake City and didn't watch all the seasons from season 1 like me, but Jenny Wynn was on season 2 of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. She was fired from Bravo after a range of social media posts surfaced of a lot of racially motivated hate posts and also against Black Lives Matters. We also saw in her season when she was on the episodes that she had a lot of microaggressive behavior towards Mary Cosby. It started with a simple Mary just checking her about cussing at her because we all know Mary is a pastor and does not want to be disrespected and especially cursed at. Jenny Lynn didn't care and she was going to cuss her out anyway. And it kind of spiraled from there. And as things spiraled and everything looked to be Mary's fault in that season, all of these social media posts end up coming up. So fast forward, here we are a few years later. Jenny Nguyen surfaces with Whitney Rose. Now, I couldn't find the Instagram post that Mary tweeted out that said, "Oh, I see that Whitney is racist too." That's what Mary said, and all of social media and the fans came down on these two. Almost to the point that Whitney Rose went on Instagram, and I don't have the Instagram post because she deleted it, and I don't know who saved it. I don't want to put Campfire up here, but she pretty much said, "Hey, she was at my event. I didn't know she was going to be there. And, I took a picture because she said sorry and we want to move on." So, with that being said, Jeannie Nguyen also went on to social media and dug the knife a little bit deeper and said some pretty crazy things. I'm not going to repeat them on this channel, but just to let you know, she has not changed. She says how she feels while simultaneously saying she supports Black Lives Matter and she does not have a problem with Black people. Mm, mm. So, with that being said, what was your response when you saw this hit the blogs, Mrs. Best? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry, the first thing that I did was send it to our lovely recapper, James Jackson. And I'm not surprised. I always felt like most of this cast was racist, with the exception of maybe Heather and Mary. So I'm not surprised. I feel like the cast has known of these things that Jenny Nguyen was saying that got her fired because they were on her personal Facebook page. And they've known her. So I'm not surprised. And Whitney, I always put it like this: you can't trust a heifer who'll marry a man old enough to be her grandpa just so that she can have the money. I think Whitney's a gold digger. It's a thought, it's a personal opinion. This is not fact. I cannot say that that's what she's doing, but she just gives that energy. I feel like she'll do whatever for money. And I feel like she does think lowly of Black people. I feel like she probably has some strong biases. But I feel like she's also the type that thinks because she knows one or a couple or a handful of Black people that means that she's not racist. And the other thing I will say to finish, listen, just because you support Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that you support Black people. The best way that you can support Black people, if you're someone who is not Black, is to educate those around you who have opinions of Black people and to advocate for us being treated the same way that all of the more privileged races are treated. So that's really all I could say on it. I hate Whitney. She irritates my soul.
I could agree with you more. I don't like Whitney. I feel like there's a big cognitive dissonance when it comes to Whitney, and she plants this seed, and it's so strategic where she's planting the seed, but then acts like she doesn't know what she's doing. And if you guys remember, that is what Mary Cosby called out in the van, which is
Little
why she was
girl,
on
little
quiet
girl.
mode. Yeah, which is why Whitney was on quiet mode because you're caught. And it's the same thing here. So you didn't have to take the picture with that lady.
It's
And one of the
common
things
sense.
that
Common sense. Someone who you could take someone off the Zeus network or Love and Hip Hop, and they would even understand that it's probably not smart as a public figure to take a picture with someone else who is publicly known to have negative prejudice and bias against a people. Like, it's common sense. Whitney knew what she was doing and she thought that she could get away with it. I don't think that Jenny Nguyen is running around wherever the fuck they're at with a camera crew and how did she get in your event with all those people? I know, like, they probably have lists. Whitney
that's what
lied.
I'm saying. According to Jenny, she was invited by the other business partner. She wasn't invited by Whitney. She was invited by the other person. But even still, I felt like what Whitney was saying in her Instagram post, she said, Jenny said she was sorry. And I'm like, why is she apologizing to you? What
Thank you.
exactly did she do to you? I need to know
Hello.
this. I need you to clarify what exactly is she apologizing to you for?
You're
Because if
not Black, so
anything,
how were you offended?
it's not even the fact that if she was black, it was the simple fact that, first of all, the person she owes an apology to is Mary. Because even if we'll take the race thing off the table, you threw a glass at this lady. You need to apologize for that. Point blank
She's
from the
not
period. And you still
sorry.
have
People
yet to
who
do it.
have those feelings towards
Oh, I know she's not sorry.
other people, she probably been waiting her whole life to do that.
Probably. And, but that's all I'm going to spend on that situation. I thought that was messed up.
Mm.
For those people, like the fans really rallied around this situation and called it what
I
it
was
was.
surprised though. I do want to say that because I saw that your recaps got some views. So shout out to y'all watching James. He appreciates it. I
Yes,
appreciate it. But I
we
was
do.
genuinely surprised because I don't. So I did watch Salt Lake in season 1. I watched Salt Lake season 2. I skipped season 3. Now here we are. It's season 4. So one of the reasons I stopped watching is because I was like, there's no way the fans can defend this. Usually they forget, like they've done with Jax Taylor from Vanderpump Rules. He'll be on House of Villains. You've got Kristen coming back to Vanderpump Rules. These are people who use the N word online, and people forgave them. So to see that the audience is not forgiving of what Jenny Nguyen did, I was like, that's pretty solid. Gives you a little
Yes,
hope for the world.
and and she put in a little plug, y'all. I will be recapping the House of Villains show on E Network when that does premiere because there are definitely people on there that I do love, And there are definitely people that I do not like and people I'm just learning about, just like the person she just mentioned. So, with that being said, y'all here for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, but we thought we just put out what the blogs were saying this week since it involved a member of this current cast.
The blog's been busy for
The
TV
blog's been busy.
this
Yes,
week.
they have. So, this show opens up where it left off, where, everybody is waking up from the next day. The walk of shame, Heather didn't have way too much to drink, and I actually rewatched it, and Heather looked like she peed in that van. So if y'all wanted to go ahead and look at that again, that was throw up, and there was something drizzling in between her legs. So yeah, she definitely peed. So yeah, go in there. Angie decides because she didn't get a little T-shirt that she was gonna make her own little T-shirt, and it said something to the swing of I just read the word no trust, all something on her. I don't know what she said, but it was basically the opposite of what Meredith was saying. That's what I got from that. So, Whitney is eating her little personal pizza. Y'all know when Mary called to see what kind of room service they had, they said they had personal pizzas and a cheese board. So Whitney's eating that personal pizza that Mary called about, and Lisa walks in. And they're talking about what happened specifically with Meredith. And Whitney calls out the fact, and this is probably the only thing I'm going to give Whitney. Probably not going to give her shit else this episode. I will give Whitney this. Meredith does deflect a lot, and she reminds me of like, how people are hypochondriacs where they make up something like a sickness so that way they don't have to go to your events or go to the store. I'm always sick, or they don't want to go to work. That's what Meredith is giving. And so Whitney calls that out. I'm tired of trying to have a conversation and call her out on her bullshit. And let alone here she goes talking about some little baby has disabilities and stuff and trying to throw off the conversation. Those are people who play mind games. I saw exactly what Whitney was talking about, but because I don't like Whitney, I don't really care that it's happening to me.
That's like the one thing Whitney has said though since season one relating to Meredith that I think no matter how anybody feels about her, it's true. It's
It
so
is.
true. And that's why she's still on the show, even though no one really likes her. But her bluntness and lack of understanding of manners, she's just going to blurt shit out. So
Yeah, I didn't mind that because what she was saying in this one scene. Now the rest of the shit, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna give Whitney much, but I do agree with her. I do think that Meredith does use situations and other people's stories to strengthen getting out of the hot seat when they hold you accountable for shit that you do. Now, Whitney, the reason why I'm not on your side 100% on this is because you did start off this trip on some bullshit. Like, let's not act like you are all innocent in this. So let's keep it there. Lisa's also, engaged, and she goes, "Look, I don't want to be in the middle of this. Me and Meredith are just starting to make up, so we'll just keep it going." And Whitney calls and says that, "Okay, well, if I get bored one more day on the show, I'm just gonna completely take it over." And that was so funny coming out of her mouth because I felt like that's what she's been doing this entire time. So now you're just making it official that you have completely taken over this trip from Meredith, which was fucked up. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna give her
listen,
this
my
too.
beef
It is
with
boring.
Whitney is she does shit like that. Oh, I'm gonna take over a cast trip. Oh, I'm gonna do this. But then in previous seasons, if someone's been a little too vocal on a cast trip who did not plan the trip, she's like, that's not okay. And I would never behave. I'm so tired of this privileged heifer. I'm so tired of her. And it's like, producers, can y'all please put a foot in her neck or something, a thorn in her side? Because she has a storyline by herself, unlike some of these women. But there's something to it that she wants to hide because she's dodging filming her own personal business like no other.
Right. And she's being strategic by throwing in one-off situations so it gets the heat off of her. I see it, but I'm just like, look, Bravo in that call center. We're not gonna play these games with Whitney. Like, we really not. Like, either y'all expose the shit or you don't kick her off the show because we tired of it. We know she filming it, so we need y'all to do something. So
Yeah, I think that the thing the Housewives, all of the franchises need to start doing, from what we've seen happen with other cities, like they have a good start, then something happens, or they leave certain people on the cast too long, or they don't fight hard enough for people. I think they should listen to the fans. Like, let Whitney go, see what the cast does without her, or add someone else in. But I right now I'm just like Whitney and that. Is it Angie K?
Yes,
They
Angie
can
K. We'll
go.
get on
They
her in a
can
minute. Yeah.
go. But I'll
Yeah,
leave it.
Angie K gets me off at the end of this episode because it was like, oh my God. But not to jump too far ahead. So Meredith plans kind of this outing with the ladies, and it's a team building exercise. So before they leave, they end up going and showing off wearing their t-shirts. Everyone has on their t-shirts, but remember, Angie K was not a guest, so she didn't get one. And then remember, in the beginning of this episode, she made her own and she revealed it to the ladies. And the way they all looked, and they were like, "Wow!" It was given thirsty. It was given pick me. It was given for what? Now you are uninvited guest to this lady's vacation, so you're choosing to be really immature and ridiculous by writing with a permanent marker on a t-shirt because you felt excluded. Now, if that ain't immature high school-ish drama, like that was stupid. And I was looking at that t-shirt and I was looking at Angie K and I'm like, really, Bravo?
Girl, if you don't go put on a hoodie like this, that was like, these are 40-year-old
It,
women. Like,
right.
what's going on?
I,
And they have the audacity to want to speak so negatively about, mainly, let's see, Lisa, Meredith, and Mary. At least they don't feel inclined to fall into peer pressure as if they are still in the 8th grade, hoping that
right.
Timmy sees their new outfit. Like, I don't get it, but I was glad that you brought that up because that irked my
Because it really bothered me when she really sashayed across that pool, walking and like, hey, and with this t-shirt, I was like,
You weren't invited.
it was like, what don't you get about that? Like, what is missing?
She's trying so hard,
Like,
I think, to have a moment on TV that's why she did that, but it just translated to something that was like super
it did.
immature.
It
You
was
can't
stupid.
make them look bad, Angie, because you weren't invited. These are obviously
Right.
pre-made. You're not just making a t-shirt over the fuck night. Like, I just feel like she was doing the most to try and get the audience to feel empathy for her, and I don't have
Which is
any
once
empathy
again,
there.
Dana, wherever you are, please come on Watch Your Mouth Reviews for an interview because I want to know why you were not on this season and why they chose Angie K. I understand why they didn't choose Angie Harrington. I totally got that because she was on some bullshit. But Dana, I need you to come on my channel at this point because I need to understand what was in those Bravo clauses. Did they just not invite you back, or did they just offer you another friend of? I need to know because there's no way I'm looking at Angie K and saying that out of the three women that were trying out for this one spot, they chose Angie K. I'm sorry, I cannot believe that. Moving on because I don't even want to go further than that. So moving on, so they arrive to the park and Mary is like, I don't want to do this. I am not getting out this van. I'm not going on no grass. It is raining. I don't need no one to tell me who I can trust and who I can't trust. I look at this group. I see these women. I know who I can trust and who I can't trust. I'm going to sit right here, Meredith. It's okay. And when I tell you, I was hollering the entire time Mary opened her mouth.
Listen, this is why Mary Cosby should be protected. This is why she's made it to my all-time favorite housewife list in the top 5, and I don't even like the franchise she's on. Listen, Mary Cosby, Mary Cosby is me when I'm out. James is not so familiar because he had kicked it with me younger, but like now that I'm old,
Right.
listen, once you get to a certain age, if you know, you know. I'm not doing shit that I don't want to do. It's got to serve
Exactly.
me. It's got to make me some money. It's got to bring me some joy. Hell, give me the Holy Spirit. But I'm not doing what I want to do. When you get to a certain age, too, you read people better. Mary said, I ain't even wasting my time.
She said, I ain't gonna waste my time. So they go out into this field. They meet Cliff, the guy who's facilitating the event, or the little exercise, I should say. It wasn't an event, it was an exercise. And when he pulls out this kind of like symbol of the street light, had a red ball, yellow ball, green ball. There, he asked the ladies, what is something that you represent of these balls? So the red, what do you need to stop doing? And Lisa goes first. Lisa has the red ball. And she was saying, we need to stop talking about people's families and stop talking about, us as a whole. We want to move forward in a group. I totally got that and agreed with her. I was like, good job, Lisa. You got one for me, baby. That's probably all what I'm going to give you this episode. Um, so the yellow light then goes to Heather. Heather says something to the extent of one of the things we need to pause on. What did she say? Like stop being in like direct competition or something to that extent. It was something to that degree. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I was confused on what she was even saying. And then the producers
Because it
flashback
was
to her.
something in her own mind.
Yeah, it was like because the producers flashback to the scene with Angie and her bringing up the fact that Angie would only buy her book because she found out Lisa was in it. And it was like, Heather, if you don't move past this, if
Heather
you
and
don't,
Meredith are the queens, I think, of any Housewives franchise. When I say they don't even need an inch, they will take a third of an
I
inch
mean,
of a centimeter of a second, and they will turn it
right.
into. I just can't. This cast tonight, in my opinion, overall, everyone in the cast at one point showed some form of privilege and disconnect. They all did at some
Absolutely.
point. They all did.
I'm not going to say what Meredith said because it contradicts later on this episode. And I'm going to get to that in just a moment here. So they all, do the one-legged races. It was cute. It really was. It was a nice team building exercise. Angie K and Heather were actually getting along. Heather says in her confessional, I'm really enjoying Angie K. And I said, because you really don't have a problem with that lady. That's the issue. And that right there let me know that whatever she's mad at about with Angie has something to do with their past back in high school, as I've been saying this entire time. Because you now let a three-legged race with Angie K determine of how you feel like, oh, she's cool or whatever now. That was so fake to me. I was like, Heather, see, this is why I can't fuck with you. This is the exact reason why I can't
Listen,
fuck with you.
everybody that I've ever had beef with in my life, every single person I've had the most fun with. And some of them I miss having fun with them. You can have fun with anybody, but not everybody that you can have a good time with is going to bring substance to your space. So it's kind of sad that Heather has not learned this at her big age, but
It's flabbergasted because it was like literally just because I'm telling y'all, every time she brings up Angie K, it goes back to high school, some math class, every time. So it was very funny watching her say this, and I'm like, now I know she fucking with me. Like I know she didn't just say this out of her own mouth. But whatever. They all feel warm and pleasant and a build of trust. And then they carry their ass back in that van, and Mary just looking at them all like, I'm glad I get out this damn van. And so so they start driving off, and I don't know how the argument between her, I guess she was asking Meredith something, or somebody asked Mary why you didn't participate, and Mary's like, well, I didn't want to participate. I didn't want to do it. And I think it was Whitney. Whitney was like, okay, well then why did you come on this trip? And Mary paid her as this. She didn't even respond to that shit. And I wouldn't have either.
listen,
I wouldn't have
why is
responded to
Angie here? You're going to ask Mary, why did she come on this trip? But you're not going to ask that of Angie when she's upset that she's not included in things and that people are treating her a certain way at a trip that she wasn't supposed to be at either. Hell, at least Mary was invited. She don't have to answer shit. Whitney, that's why you was in that picture with Jenny Nguyen. I know your number, Heifer. I know your number. You are looking for a way. I feel like Whitney wants to take Mary down. And it's like, Whitney, even if you take down Mary Cosby, she's still gonna have more money than you, Whitney Rose.
It's
Like,
not even about that. She still be the fan favorite. No matter what you try to expose, no
she's the
matter what you
memorable
try to
one.
do, she is the one that every fan on this franchise was crying for season 3 when y'all heifers couldn't run the show on your own.
Mm.
So I don't want to hear from you, Whitney, especially how you have this disproportion because she called you out on your bullshit and you have egg on your face because it's true. I don't want to hear that
Welcome
from you.
to reality TV. It's baffling
Right.
that they be trying, especially on this franchise. They try so hard to avoid being seen, being read for filth. Like they try so hard not to, like, you're on TV. Everyone's gonna have their moment where they, look a fool, get read for filth. Hell, remember Phaedra reading Kenya Moore? Kenya Moore's still here and people love her. She got read for filth though. It's like the
She sure
Salt Lake
did, but she
City.
took it on the chin.
She
She
took it
act like
on
it
the
didn't
chin.
bother.
And she's still there. Now she reads others. It's like you're on reality TV. Like people are tuning in primarily to see y'all like read each other, throw shade, how they gonna handle it. And
Yeah.
Whitney, they just all avoid it. It drives me crazy. I apologize.
It's like, so they get back to the Trixie Motel. They have lunch, and Whitney takes it upon herself to make a little announcement. And the announcement that she makes was, "We're going to honor Trixie by dressing up in drag, and she's going to raid us. And we're going to have you do your own glam." Now, why she say that? Because Lisa goes into complete hysteria and disarray. We don't know what the hell happened with Lisa. I felt like Bravo in that call center. Did y'all edit some shit out that we didn't see that maybe was said amongst these ladies? Because I don't know what the hell just happened with
They
Lisa.
definitely edited stuff out. If you pay
Yes,
attention, she did the freak out. They wanted us to see her freak out. We saw everyone's bare face but Lisa's. They would not film her face until she had her toner and her primer on her face, which is basically makeup. It's not makeup. It preps you for makeup, but it's makeup.
see, this is why she's my best friend, y'all, because I said that exact same thing. I said Lisa do not want us to see what she looked like without, because Whitney came with a bare face when she went to go up to Trixie. We saw all the imperfection on Whitney, like we sure did. We saw
I
the
give
skin
Whitney
and
that,
everything,
and her
and
face
I'll
is
give her
bright
that.
red like a cherry, and she shows it. It's like
She
nobody
shows it because
looks
she's not
as
ashamed
they
of it. Nobody, yeah.
nobody looks as they do with makeup as they do when they don't
Mhm.
have it. It's okay. It's meant to enhance. So of course when it's not on, but no shade to Lisa James. She don't look the greatest with makeup.
We make up either. No, no, that ain't no shade. No,
So
ain't no that.
I don't
Yeah, it
blame
was
her.
very.
Based on what I see with makeup,
I'm just like,
I don't
no,
know.
I'm glad. No, this is what I'm glad. I'm glad she wear her hair parted down the middle and covering right here. I'm glad that she does that now. Because when we see it, it's like, oh, okay. But this was Lisa, y'all. Oh my God, I don't want to fight. I paid 2,500 for Morgan's ticket, and I paid for her flight. And when I go to St. Lucia, when I go, I have glam, and this is everything for
Lisa's
me.
gonna
It
name
was
drop
like,
and price tag her way off of this show and or into being the most hated housewife.
it
She got
was
to be careful
like
with that.
I literally was looking at her and I'm like, this is rich people problems. Because out of all the things that you could have cried about, you gonna cry about some fucking makeup.
I now the makeup thing really did throw me off because if you're just gonna do at the end of the day, no one is forcing you to do this. You had a cast freak out. Maybe the producers wanted her to like participate, but I just feel like crying over makeup. Look, y'all, barefaced. Look at it. I'm here. It is what it is. It's not the biggest deal in the fucking world
I
to
feel
not
like
have
she's trying
makeup.
to cover up something
She's
that is
hiding
deeper.
something because
Yeah, it's deeper than that because the way she went and it went on and on and on, and
her
I am
husband.
just
God
like,
bless John. Can we have a moment of silence for John?
no, we
Because
cannot. And let me
I
explain something to you.
feel
Because he's
bad
just like
for
her.
him. I feel
I
bad
don't.
for him. He sounded
I
so agitated when she called.
no.
Like,
To me, I'm sorry. I used to feel like that season one, but then when I looked at him and how they got together, because remind you, he used to be with her sister.
wait, what?
Yeah, John used to be with Lisa's sister.
They said that season one, didn't they?
They did.
They did. Okay.
So when I actually look at
That's
that
weird.
situation, I said, no, 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 no. I'm not feeling sorry for him because he's probably the exact same way that she is. It's just maybe it looks different.
Well, he
Maybe it's
has
with
to
golf
be because
clubs. Maybe it's with something else. Maybe it's
they're
with,
still together. So you're probably right. They're still together. And
yeah, because
you know,
there's no way I could think of some man for 23 years putting up with all of that. A woman
well, you
crying
see,
over
her
something
kids
very,
are fleeing. I don't care what anybody says.
yeah, them kids, yeah, that boy, I'm
Fleeing.
sorry. After watching this, I was like, yeah, no, yeah, because it doesn't make sense. If
But
you're not raised,
she's gonna struggle. It's a little much, I think, to cry. It's one thing to cry over makeup and not wanting your face to be seen. I get that. We've seen them try to do these makeup list parties on a lot of shows, and there's always someone who's not happy. But like to suddenly be bringing in like the cost of everything, I feel like she wants to show her wealth. Lisa, you need to go apply for Housewives of Beverly Hills or Orange County. Those are our richest housewives. And I guarantee if Lisa was to go over to one of those franchises, she would quickly be humbled in how poor she is. She feels that because she thinks she has all this money. Because people, how do you say it? Sutton said it. We love Sutton. I can't wait to recap Beverly Hills, which will be on my channel, y'all. I can't wait.
he is. If y'all do not know, Sutton is my number one favorite
I
housewife
love Sutton.
of
She's my
all time.
all-time favorite right now. She's been it since she came on the show, and at first people
She
didn't know how
came
to
that first when she
pronounce
was a friend of that, but I tell you, Sutton ate them girls up, especially
it. Love
Teddy. I
Sutton.
was here for her. I was like, yes,
So
Sutton,
it knows
yes,
what to do. But Sutton always makes
yes.
comments, about, how you can basically tell the difference between new money and old money. And Lisa is not giving old money. People who are accustomed to being wealthy are not discussing their wealth very often. They're donating quietly, they're building quietly, they're not trying to have too much on them. So Lisa needs to be quiet because I still can't find her tequila. I've tried Total Wine, Bevmo, Bevbox, and others. I can't find that
They have it
tequila.
here. They have it here in South Florida. I've seen
Okay,
it
well,
at
it's not on the
bars.
West
Yeah,
Coast, and you're over here, Lisa. You're not far. I can drive to Salt Lake City now. Where's the tequila? I want to know. I've never seen it, and I travel a lot. James will tell you, I'm always on the go somewhere, and I like it when my husband likes to drink. I would have seen that tequila. Haven't seen it, and I've looked. I've tried. So
well, there you have it, y'all. So Trixie comes out with her honorary crown from RuPaul's Drag Race. I believe that's where that crown was from, right? Because Trixie did win, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know Trixie, y'all. So I'm just guesstimating. I know that that's the show that Trixie won was RuPaul Drag Race. That's all that I know. So all of them start coming out one by one. Whitney comes out first. And I was like, oh, because Whitney, yeah, Whitney don't do drag no more. Because Whitney had like one of Trixie's wigs. Because Trixie was walking around with her wigs. They were heaviest. Trixie's, they were like 30 to 40 pounds. They were heavy. So Monica comes out next. Monica actually reminded me of Tu Wong Fu, Chi Chi. That's what Monica reminded me of. I'm sorry, when I was looking at Monica, and I was like, "Why do you look like this Chi Chi right now?" Oh my gosh! Like I'm wrong for saying that, but she did. That's what she looked like to me. I
I
was like,
don't
"Oh
get
my god!"
drag. Listen, I don't judge, but I don't get drag. I think it's horrendous fashions. I I said I don't like drag makeup. I don't like drag clothing. I don't get drag, y'all. I've been to a drag show too, and it was fun, but I don't really get the point. But hey, it's me.
Yeah, but so the real winner that I felt should have won, but she did not, was Heather. When
Really?
I tell you Heather nailed that for me, because Heather actually, I'm not trying to disrespect Heather. Heather, I'm really not. This is not no shade, no nothing. But you actually looked like a real life drag queen, like the ones I've always seen. Heather had it down because you got to say Heather's face is strong. Heather has a very strong face. So when
Watch
you
your
have a
mouth,
strong
James.
face,
I
no,
don't
I'm
know
just
if
saying.
you're right.
I'm just saying, like, no, I was looking at Heather. I loved it. This is a. I'm
Oh
not
my
trying to be shady,
god.
Heather. I'm really
He said,
not.
you
But
know, she got a strong
she has
face.
a very strong face. So when I saw her with the makeup and the wig I'm sorry, Heather's look came together.
Mary
Trixie,
Cosby
you was
explained that strong face. That's all of us say.
oh god, we're not going there. But Trixie, you was wrong for this one. Oh, Angie came out with some green. She looked like the Green Goblin. She was yeah. I didn't like the wig. Her makeup was terrible. I was
I
like,
mean, at least
oh,
she tried, though. She did
she
try.
did try.
I'll
Unlike
give
these
her
next
that.
three, I'm finna that disappointed me. So Meredith came out with horrible eye makeup, this black velvet dress, and we were looking at and her hair was the exact same as it always been. I said, Meredith, come on.
Why
If you
does
wasn't gonna put
Meredith
on,
have the makeup of what is that guy who's friends with Lizzo or Lizo? Is it Harry Styles? He puts on makeup sometimes.
I know who Harry Styles, but I've never seen him with makeup. So that's why I was
There's
like, I don't.
it's somebody, I might be getting them mixed up, but she gave like pep rally
She
LGBT
yeah, she did. She gave
friendly.
pep rally like
makeup.
I'm here to support my friend at Pride. She did. She definitely gave that.
That's what it felt like when I was at Pride
Yeah,
in the city. That's everybody had their little
yeah,
eyebrows.
but she just got off work. Like she just worked her 9 to 5 and do some makeup on in the car. Just ran up in there and said, "Hey, I made it to support you."
Her makeup was amazing.
That's exactly what Meredith was giving. Lisa came out in this all white. It was a cute outfit. I actually thought it looked cute on her, but she had understated normal Lisa makeup. And then Whitney started to get annoyed because it was like, so y'all really not gonna participate? And I
It's
said,
not your
once
trip.
again, Whitney, it
It's
ain't
not
your
your
trip,
trip.
baby. It's not your trip. So you
We
can't
gave
get
you that.
mad because nobody would participate. Because honestly, if it was my trip, I wouldn't even have showed up and walked up in that pool area. I would have opened my curtain and closed it. That's exactly what I would have did. Because I'm messy like that. That's what I would do. You ain't
That's
gonna come on
not
my trip.
messy. If someone comes and hijacks what you're supposed to do, that's the thing I don't
It's
like.
not
Like
messy
narrative,
in a general tone, but it's messy where it's like a messy petty kind of thing where I'm
but
not
you
going to even
got every
participate.
right if you were to do that. And that's
She
the
sure
thing.
did.
Meredith wants to go off and become this unhinged Karen when she's drinking. But when she's not drinking, she's literally just allowing Whitney to do all of this. And it's a little bit, I get pick your battles. But if that bitch want to play with you, I would have called Trixie. Like, you invited me here. I just want to make it clear. Like, I'm
It
playing. Like,
makes me
go
wonder if this was a setup from production. We're gonna
probably.
make it seem like it's Meredith's trip, but really it's Whitney's trip because that's what it's giving. Because Meredith is way too cool about this. Because if it were me, I would not be this cool. I would
Right.
be the most pettiest, most messy. She couldn't say 2 words to me
Mm.
kind of person because there's no way I'm planning a trip and I'm in cahoots with this person, probably emailing, correspondence, and everything, inviting people. If this is what I'm getting in return, so no, I don't think this was marriage. I'm starting to think this was a marriage trip at all. So then Mary comes out, only wearing the shoes, and this was regular Mary get up. I feel like this was in Mary's suitcase. Mary packed this, and she just threw some really large
Mary
heels
tried
on.
to participate though with the girls. She doesn't get enough credit because she did try. She sat there, put the makeup on, she put her wig on, no type of wig glue or anything, and she said, "I'm gonna go out and try." So I just feel like with these fashions, nobody can be upset at who didn't show up or participate because the person who put on the show, who had the idea, I mean, shit, it's not her trip. She's not supposed to be there. That's why
Right.
Trixie had to go find a crown at her house to let them have for a little bit. She didn't even have a proper fucking gift. It's
Yeah.
true. That tired ass crown. Nobody wants that.
Right. Exactly. But hey, I ain't even go ahead, Trixie. But you picked the wrong winner. As I said, Heather had that hands down. I don't care what nobody says. Heather had that hands down. But anyway, moving on. They go to eat some more food that was catered in, and it was Monica, Angie, Whitney. I know Mary and Meredith were sitting on to the side, and eventually they got up and left. But Whitney was feeling away because she was like, "So we heard Lisa throw this conniption, and then no one else participated." Like I would have, because they all gave Lisa way too much credit. They thought she was actually going to do a drag, like actually put on drag, and she didn't. And Monica was over there calling her, yeah, they're the sour pusses. And, Lisa is always doing this and saying, all about this ring. See, this is where Monica lost me. And I hate this because I do like her still. I'm not completely off the Monica train yet, but this is where she's losing me because it seems like you are judging Lisa based on your own insecurities and not really about her attitude because I wouldn't have brought up that ring again. If she wasn't bringing it up, that is the silent killer for you not to bring it up too. So why you doing it, I have no idea. But Monica would not let this go because she ended up being the winner. And they all decided we're gonna go out and have fun now. So as they're in the van, Monica decides to call Lisa out and said, Lisa, I just feel like you're very insensitive. You're very insensitive to people who are in middle class and, talking about your ring and everything. And you didn't even participate when we were doing drag. And I said, Monica, this is not the moment. This is not the time. This is not anything serious. She didn't participate. So what? Like, so what? And I am just like, when she was talking, when she was trying to make her points, it was like it wasn't landing because it was like, I think it's because we all know who Lisa is at the end of the day. We all know she's shallow. We all know this. So I think that's why it didn't land for me. What did you think about Monica's argument with Lisa?
Um, I felt similar but a little opposite. Salt Lake City is the most boring franchise, in my opinion, on the show. So people like Monica who are going to pick fights that in real life we might be like, I'm just going to walk away from that or let it go for the purpose of TV. It's necessary. But I just can't really take. You can't call her shallow after you're crying on TV about the need to go and buy a Louis Vuitton bag, which is going to be, if you're going to the actual Louis Vuitton store, a minimum of $1,500 for, I mean, probably a wallet or a scarf. But like, you can't tell somebody else they're shallow when you literally went and spent at least $5,000 just so that you could feel like you could fit in. You're just this fucking shallow. It's just, it wasn't your first thought to be shallow as it was theirs. So it's obviously Lisa's shallow. Everyone watching the show knows that. And it's kind of what makes Lisa good for TV too, because outside of being shallow, nothing about Lisa is interesting. So without calling out all of the things she's discussed and what she says she's spending money on, she could have just, she could have left it a little simpler. I just don't see the point in calling Lisa Barr. It's not going to change anything. She's going
And
to
I think that
respond.
that was my point about it. It was like, that's not going to change anything. That's not going to validate your point. If anything, it makes you look insecure because overall, you're trying to fit in with these ladies and it's not landing because, yes, they all have their lives pretty much put together. So, and you're just now figuring it out. So, I wouldn't even worry about it. If it were me personally, I wouldn't care about Lisa's career. I would be just like Mary. I don't even think it's worth that anyway. I already
Yeah,
told
that's
y'all
what I
that.
was
That's
gonna
how I
say.
feel.
Monica needs to sit and do like Mary.
Because Mary was in the back sleep.
Like these women, like I bet you, I feel like Mary Cosby is Mary Cosby, but I guarantee you, if we were to get her on a cast that is either a little bit more diverse or less shallow and uppity and all of that, I feel like Mary might speak or participate more. I truly believe her when she said, I don't have the need to get to know any of these people. I know exactly who I'm dealing with. Monica needs to figure that out because it's gonna get old. At first we liked it, but now we're like, okay, you don't gotta go off and speak up every single time something happens. Like, calm down, Tiger, calm down.
So, yep, exactly. And that's how I feel. So they get to this lounge. It looked like a gay bar. And the only reason why I said that is because there was rainbows everywhere, and Mary didn't go out. Mary didn't go inside. She goes, "It doesn't seem like it's my kind of environment." So you guys know Mary is Pentecostal, and they do not agree with homosexuality lifestyles. They do not. It doesn't mean that they won't interact with you. It just means that they don't want to be in those type of environments because she has the image to protect being a pastor. We totally got it. A lot of people were kind of like shunning her on social media about it. I felt it was no problem because of her background. How
Listen,
did you feel about Mary not going
listen.
in?
Here's what I want the community that belongs to it to understand because it's become a problem. Everybody has the right to love who they love, date who they date, all of that. In my opinion, it ain't nobody business who you date, whether it's a man, a woman, a dog, or a cat. But at the same time, there's a way to get your message across. I feel like there is a small group within the LGBTQI, whatever the fuck community. There's a small group of people in there who do not properly express themselves, and it makes the rest of them look a mess. And then the same thing happens with the heterosexual community. But you cannot judge this woman for standing in her beliefs and morals, which religion has to do with. She doesn't have to go in if she doesn't want to. She doesn't have to agree with what other people believe. She just has to give respect where it's due, which she did. She didn't say nothing negative about the gay bar. She didn't talk negatively. She didn't make no innuendo. She didn't throw no shade. So what the fuck are y'all people really mad at? That's how I feel. And every time there's something, especially on Bravo, that has to do with gayness, lesbianism, anything that has to do with that community, I get it because they're on TV. The cast doesn't want to look like they're against that or saying stuff that's negative. And I know the fans watching, they also don't want to promote negativity, but it's not always that. People can believe what they believe. And the same way that the LGBTQ community doesn't want people to change their viewpoints and how they feel and tell them what they can and can't do, they can't do that to the rest of the world either. So for me, it's an issue that's on both ends. It's not that deep. Mary didn't participate in any of it. And you can't say that she has an issue with going in a gay bar, but she just sat and was literally friendly and participated in a drag competition. She may not have dressed up, but she sat through it and participated. She didn't want to go in the bar. Leave her alone. If there was a person who was a Buddhist that just didn't want to go in a bar because they don't drink or believe that they can be in bars, no one would say anything. But because it's a gay bar, should people want to have a problem? Like, come on, y'all. It drives me crazy.
Yes, and let me explain something to y'all. This is our opinions. This is from what we saw, and this is what we are saying. This is not to be taken as no, oh, straw man argument like a lot of y'all like to do. I'm not here for it. Get out my life if you really are like that. I do not want no straw man arguments. We did not say anything of anti-LGBT. I'm
No.
gay, but no one knows. So we're not saying that. What we are saying is simply just saying Mary did not want to go in, and a lot of people on Instagram, especially when they did the little snippets, were talking about that, about how it was a gay bar and she didn't want to go in because of religion, and everybody had a problem with that. I didn't have an issue with it at all. I respect her for being honest. Moving on. So we thought this argument with Lisa and Monica was over, and it was far from over. Lisa decided she wanted to confront Monica because she was like, I just can't understand what is the real issue between us, Monica. What is the real problem? And Monica was like, oh my God, like, why are you even bringing this up? Because one, I just said I am from middle class. And I'm not going to sit up here and just worry about labels, worry about money, how much something costs, and everything, which Monica did have a valid point. If you got it like that, what are you so worried about it for? That
Boom.
was, yes. So I actually will give Monica that one. That's where she started with me back. But then she just got tired of Lisa, and I wouldn't have got tired of Lisa. I'd have gave Lisa ran for her money. Hold on, y'all, my dog acting up. But yeah, so overall, I was over that conversation because they were not going anywhere with it. Lisa
There's no
still feels how
point
she
in their
feels.
argument. Yeah.
Yes.
It's that you can't change who someone is. So, Monica, if you don't like it, then sit on the other side of the damn bus. I mean, You don't have to be around who you don't like. I know you guys have to go on trips that you may not want to go on contractually sometimes for filming purposes, but no one's saying you have to sit and interact with Lisa the whole time. No one's telling you to do that. So Monica is newer, but I still don't know. I still need time to warm up to her. She's helping the show a lot, though.
She's bringing like the not so much diversity, but the kind of average placement that this show needs because a lot of them had average incomes before this show.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's bringing that factor into it to keep it kind of on like even playing fields, but still, I need her to boost up her self esteem just a little bit. Going forward from there, we then pan the table over to Whitney and Meredith, and I think that was Heather sitting on the yeah, it was Heather sitting on the end because Heather, like I said, Heather won that drag queen. She was given. So Meredith brings up, or was it Whitney? Whitney brings up the whole thing of, can we have a conversation? And Meredith didn't seem interested in wanting the conversation. And this is where Whitney kind of took a little poke and said, well, yeah, is it going to be about, somebody's nephew, son, and their situation, disability? And this was Meredith. How dare you? You're disgusting. You bring up a sick child. How dare you? And you are despicable. And I was like, Meredith,
Please fire Meredith. I cannot anymore.
Meredith,
It's old
Meredith.
now.
This is what we're talking about. This is what we're saying. Why are you making me agree with Whitney? Why?
Meredith wants to look like she is the most ethically together human being on the planet. You can tell. You could just tell. You know good well, Meredith, that lady was not actually talking about sick children. And I'm mad and I feel you, James, because it's like them, the people who recap these shows, like, if you're doing your recaps correctly, it's like, God damn it. Now we gotta defend Whitney a little bit. Cause wait a
Right. And
second.
I had every intention not to defend her. I had
Right.
every intention not to defend her. But when I'm actually speaking it out my mouth and I'm going through the dialogue, I'm
It's
like,
like,
no, I have to agree with Whitney. So as she disengages from the conversation, goes to the bar. Whitney tries again and tries to, say, hey, no, we need to finish this. We need to talk about this. And Meredith's like, I'm not interested. And then she turns over to, I believe that was Monica. Yeah, it was Monica. So she turns over to Monica, and Whitney was like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to the back of your head then. And she's telling Monica, look, I don't need, that pit bull over there. And it was something, I don't think she called her pit bull, but I think she said Angie was over there pit bulling me last night. I don't need Whitney over here now doing this. So Whitney tells, not Whitney, Angie K tells Whitney, scoot back. So you calling me a dog? You call me a pit bull? And see, this is what I'm talking about, Angie. This is what I'm talking about, Angie. You were not invited to this lady's trip. And then you sat up here when you tried to confront her at dinner and she said you were rallying like a pit bull because you were for no reason. Now you brought your ass in this bar with this green ass wig and sitting up here in this lady's face trying to confront her over something you did. Like, to me, at that point, if I was married, I'd have gotten a van with Mary at that point. I would have been like, I can't do this. Where's my check? I'm not going to do this with these women. They want a moment. They ain't going to get no moment off my back. And it was constantly, she kept trying to get in Meredith's face. And I'm like, Angie, really? Now, see, at that point, if this was another type of show, that drink would have been all up in Angie's face and that wig. It would have been. Name a show that drink would have been in Angie's face. Basketball Wives.
listen.
Anybody? So yeah, like, come on. But how did you feel about Angie K inserting herself? Was she looking for a moment, or did she have valid reason to confront Meredith in that moment?
You're looking for a moment. Even if I think, listen, at their age, if this was like anybody from 18 to 30, fine. But 30 plus, you hear somebody, it's like, I had to deal with her like a pit bull. Again, Angie K, you're not fucking invited. So anything you complain about, any issues you have, anything that happens with their treatment of you, honestly, unless they're talking about your kid or your man, you have no plight, you have no fight, you have no nothing. You're not supposed to be there. So she shouldn't have inserted herself further. If I'm somewhere that I know I'm not supposed to be, I'm not going to insert myself in further drama just because somebody felt like I was a pit bull because I was misbehaving at a place I wasn't supposed to be in the first place. So it's kind of this, like you said earlier, it feels produced. Listen,
It's beyond
can
produced.
we
It
take
feels
Mary
like
Cosby and put her somewhere else and then just get rid of Salt Lake City? Because it's not working, in my opinion. These women are arguing over nothing. They're
they
arguing
really
over
are.
nothing. Like,
And it gets to the point where I'm just like, come on. Like, so going forward, I no longer like Meredith. She ruined it for me tonight.
oh, I thought you
Uh,
didn't like her all this time. I've never
no,
liked Meredith.
I was okay with her. I was
Mm,
okay with her because there was moments I liked her, and there's moments I don't. She made it back to the I don't like her now.
mm.
Monica is disappointing me, but I'm gonna leave hope for Monica because it's her first season. Whitney, there's no redeeming qualities you have for me, baby. We pretty much done.
Not the
Angie
baby.
K, Angie K.
Angie K
I'm mad.
gives me, I feel like she's going to leech off of, she's going to attach herself to people so she can stay relevant. But separate from
Probably.
people, the storyline, which is that husband, in the words of my friend, I know what I'm looking at. You want me to talk about her husband?
Right, because I know exactly what I'm looking at.
Listen,
And see,
the world knows what they're looking
yeah,
at.
and if the baby sleeping in the bed at 12 years old did not give that away, I don't know what will. Hmm. So, anyways, like I'm saying, Angie K, I prefer Dana. I don't know why they chose you, Bravo, in that call center. I'm like really mad at y'all for making her a full time housewife because she is pointless. Lisa, whatever. Heather, I still don't like you, but I have to give it to you. You was the one I would have crowned the queen that night. You was the real one. You looked the part. You dressed the part. They robbed you, and I hate that for you because
Heather
you won
needs
in
to
my
go
eyes.
back to how she was season one. And I think
No,
that
she doesn't. No, she
we'll get
doesn't.
a little bit. No, I'm talking about not her interactions, but I feel like she's too much into the group. In season one, I felt
That's how
like,
I felt about her season one.
oh,
No, I
I
don't
didn't
agree with
feel
that.
that way. I felt
No,
like she
I
was
did.
better.
I felt like no, 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 no. I felt like she was inserting herself into so much drama, especially when it came between Jen and Mary. And then she chose a side simultaneously, and then trying to get the other people who were beefing with Jen to then convert over to her side. No, it was a very manipulated game she played. I don't agree with that. I felt like no.
I feel like season one, she was a little bit more down to earth. If that makes sense, like it's not really her interaction. She hasn't changed that. But I feel like overall, like you know how you watch a housewife in their earlier season, and then as time progresses, like they still may interact the same, but you could tell like the money or the fame has gotten to them. Heather gives me that. I feel like the money and
Yes.
the fame has gotten to her head. That's what
Almost. I
I
don't think
mean.
it. I don't think it has yet, but I think she's getting there. I think like give it a couple more seasons, she'll be there. Mary. I don't have anything bad to say about Mary. The only thing I'm gonna say about Mary is you need to either you gonna interact or you gonna be in the house with your mannequins.
I agree.
Like
I agree.
I
We
enjoy
love her,
you.
but she's got to interact
You
with
got to
people.
interact. I'm sorry, I love you, but you got to interact. I don't care if you read somebody. I don't care if you just making faces in the scene with everybody. I don't care. But you staying in that van all that time and your side commentary, which was funny, but it's not what I wanted them to bring you back for. Like, come
Yeah,
on, you
seeing
got
you
to do
eat
better.
McDonald's fish fillets.
Yeah, you got to do better than that. I'm sorry, that was horrible. But as once again, it was an okay episode. We stayed on this live longer than we ever did any other live because the show that wasn't that good. But hey, we got to go over to Mrs. Best's channel, y'all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh yeah,
We
I
got to go
forgot.
over there. She got lives. See, y'all go over to her channel in a few minutes. We gonna help her get set up because we gotta talk about love and hip hop, especially that Miami, because that was something else that I saw. So that's it, y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for the people who have been consistently watching us the entire time. I appreciate you very much. We will do this again next week, and then hopefully in the month of October, I have some better, more content. We definitely gonna have more shows this fall season. We're gonna be busy. So make sure y'all stay tuned now. Peace out, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.